Let me ask you guys something. When was the last time you actually sat down and played Left 4 Dead 2 with your homies? Not for 5 minutes, not because you saw it in your Steam library. I mean, actually sat down, picked a campaign, grabbed a shotgun, and played through the whole thing. Because somehow, after almost 20 years, Left 4 Dead 2 is still one of the easiest games to recommend. And honestly, I think that's because, they don't really make games like this anymore where it has this much replay value. So today, I wanted you to sit back and relax and grab some popcorn, maybe, baseball bat with nails, and talk to you about why you should go back and play Left 4 Dead 2 or play it with your homies. Because even though it has some flaws on it, the game actually holds up. Whether you play with mods, you play vanilla, it's all good. Whatever you want to play, it's pretty much there. You can download maps. Or if you play on your 360, you can play it split screen. I know PC you can too, but there's not many people that will actually sit down and play it like that because most of us have grown up, man. Split screen days are gone. Unless you got a wife like mine that'll play with you, you're pretty much screwed. You need good internet to play with your friends. The gameplay is still incredible. The biggest reason to come back to Left 4 Dead 2 is, really simple. It's still fun. That's something a lot of older games struggle with is the clankiness, mechanics, gameplay. Like some of these older games, you can't even play them anymore because it's just you've gotten so used to the new gen. But there's not many games you can go back to that you loved 10 or 15 years ago only to realize that you were mostly remembering the nostalgia. Left 4 Dead 2 isn't really like that. The second you load into a campaign, grab your weapon, start moving, the game just feels good. You got your guns, melee weapons, throwables, health items, medkits, pills, adrenaline, and then you've got an entire army of the dead waiting for you. And the best part is that the game constantly forces you to make decisions, whether you have AI teammates or your own human teammates. Do I use my pipe bomb now? Or do I wait until the crescendo? Do I heal myself? Do I heal my teammate? It all comes down to the wire sometimes, keeping your shotgun even though it has low ammo. Do you pick up these pain pills even though you have an adrenaline? Which is obvious choice. Pain pills will always be better, even if you just give them away and don't use them. Or you make the wrong decision, your entire team has to restart the chapter. Obviously, we can't talk about Left 4 Dead 2 without talking about the Special Infected, because this is where the game really separates itself from other zombie games, which nowadays there's pretty much special zombies everywhere, but this is one of the first pioneers of it. The common infected are dangerous because of the sheer number of them, but the special infected are dangerous because each one forces you to react differently. The hunter makes sure you don't leave your crowd, Smoker can pull you away from your team and they don't realize it. The boomer can screw up your vision and attract a horde to you, and the charger can send you flying off a roof. The jockey can drag you somewhere you definitely don't want to be, fire, spit or spit. The witch, don't fuck with her unless you can crown her. I've never crowned a witch but one time. It's basically the game's way of saying, you're having a fun time now. Let's ruin your day. And that's what makes all these infected so memorable is they have their own looks. You're just constantly on the fly, trying to figure out how to deal with the situation. The campaigns, another reason a huge comeback should be in the works for Left 4 Dead 3. Left 4 Dead 2 has some really memorable locations. You've got Dead Center, Dark Carnival, Swamp Fever, Hard Rain, The Parish. Some of the DLC ones, and even including Left 4 Dead 1 if you buy it all complete, and it's usually on sale for cheap, so there's no reason why nobody should have Left 4 Dead 2 on Steam. Every campaign has its own atmosphere. Dead Center's like the mall from Dawn of the Dead. Dark Carnival's the circus from Zombieland. Hard Rain is basically Silent Hill without the fog. The parish is just one big Mardi Gras. They just don't feel like multiplayer maps, they feel like journeys. I know you're thinking to yourself, like, hey, I've played this game through I don't know how many times, but the director will make these campaigns change, items placements, whatever. But there's always something that can make it go wrong. And that brings me to the director, which me and the director have had our bouts of fuckery. But I'll say if you guys are liking these reviews so far, please like and subscribe. I don't want to disappoint my wife. She makes me do these. She beats me. Anyway, back to the director. The AI director is probably the biggest reason the game stayed so replayable all these years for so long, because the game isn't simply spawning the exact same enemies, the same places every time. The director will change things like enemy spawns, items, hordes, special infected. Sometimes the overall pacing of a section, so you can play the same campaign 100 times and have a completely different experience each time. One run can feel easy, like I beat Dead Center in 14 minutes with my little brother. The next run was 28 minutes, just because we knew where everything was at, on top of everything spawning differently, so we knew the way to go, we knew what to do, and it just took longer for whatever reason. But that's exactly what you want from a game like this. And while we're on the subject of my little brother, we spent countless hours out of our school summers playing these games on the 360. And split screen was fun and all, but nothing beats having someone else there after I played with the AI so long. I wish me and him would play more. I wish we would play more games, but if I could go back to a week of summer with him in my room playing split screen Left 4 Dead 2, I would take it in a heartbeat. Kind of like Shrek 4, where he took the day he was born. But back to it. Sorry to off rail it there. The co-op, man, creates some of the funniest moments imaginable. Like your friend gets grabbed by a smoker, someone accidentally shoots the boomer, the witch gets startled. Everybody starts running and panicking. Someone gets incapacitated. Someone else tries to save them, and suddenly the entire team is dead. And that's the magic of Left 4 Dead 2. Like, there's just no way you can not have fun playing this unless you're playing expert realism, then you kind of suck. But you're creating stories. It's not just a game at that point. There's so many memories. Stupid moments where everything goes wrong are usually the moments you remember years later. So let's break down the pros, man. First, the gameplay has aged well. The shooting feels good. The movement still feels responsive. The weapons are satisfying, and the combat is incredibly easy to understand. Second, the replayability is insane. Between the campaigns, difficulties, mutations, whatever, survival mode, I don't play much of that, but it's there. And if you're playing on PC, the amount of mods makes it even crazier. You are completely transforming the game. New campaigns, new weapons, new characters, new sounds. New mechanics too sometimes. You basically turn Left 4 Dead 2 into whatever kind of zombie game you want. And third, this is the most important one for all these new kids playing games nowadays. It's easy to get into. You don't need to spend 10 hours learning a skill tree. You don't need to understand a massive crafting system. You don't need to watch 3 hours of tutorials like you would building a Minecraft house nowadays. You start the game, you grab a weapon, you kill zombies, but sometimes simple is better. Fast is smooth is fast, right? But now, here's the cons, because obviously it's not perfect. It's perfect to me, but people don't agree with me most of the time. The biggest one is probably the age. 2009 compared to 2026 graphics wise, you're going to be looking at some dated graphics, but there's no getting around that because you can get mods, or if you're playing vanilla, you're just stuck with 2009 quality graphics. The animations aren't going to compete with the modern games either. Ragdoll's still cool, but the mods I have for Ragdolls make it look better. I could not play vanilla Ragdolls now, it would be too unsatisfying. The environments can feel repetitive because it's the same campaigns over and over again with different changes. And for someone that needs constant progression, Left 4 Dead 2 might feel like bare bones because there's no leveling up. It's just you're surviving. The game is basically built around one thing: survive to the next checkpoint. And depending on what you want from games today, that simplicity could either be a massive positive or a negative. And I think the biggest problem right now, coming back to Left 4 Dead 2, is actually something that, it's not the game's fault. It's the biggest con if you've already played it. If you played this game for hundreds of thousands of hours, the campaigns aren't going to magically become brand new again. Like, if I could go back and play them through the first time over again, fuck yeah, man. Go for it, but never going to be able to experience that again. You're going to know where a tank usually shows up. You're going to remember where the witches spawn, where they're wandering around. You know the safe room spots. Those don't change. They will never change unless you have mods. And eventually some of that unpredictability starts to disappear and wear off, but the game still has something to prove that modern games struggle to recreate, and it gets to be fun. Now here's the main point of the video, guys. Why you should come back. And that's ultimately why I think you should go back and play Left 4 Dead 2, because, it's not perfect. It's not the best looking game. But it's 4-player co-op, and you get 8 campaigns plus some DLC. Right? No, it's 5 plus DLC. I was thinking with the passing and all that added on, and the cold stream. But if you have some friends, grab some shotguns, grab some rifles, grab some cola. Get it to that store, guys, so you can blow the tank out of your way. But you don't need a 100-hour campaign or a giant open world to have fun. It's not, what do you call it? It's not what Assassin's Creed's turning into now. All the skill trees and shit in the open world. And you don't need to have a battle pass or grind for better gear, because it's always going to be the same gear. It's all have their own stats. So it's depending on your choice what you want. I usually go shotguns, assault rifles. Don't really pick up the submachine gun unless I have to, Those tier 1 weapons kind of... But they have their pros and cons. So if you haven't played Left 4 Dead 2, man, I really think you should go back, pick a campaign that you love, put it on expert if you're feeling confident, if you want a challenge, so you're not being thrown in the same regular bullshit. And see how long it takes before the game reminds you that you aren't as good as you remember. Because after all these years, Left 4 Dead 2 is still one of the best zombie games and co-op games I've ever played. And honestly, I don't think it's ever going to be stopped playing, even if 3 comes out. People are going to find something to gripe about, or, Valve will ruin it to a point where nobody wants to play it anymore. But thanks, guys. I'm trying to do better at this stuff. I want to thank my beautiful wife and my beautiful kids for helping me to do this. Not as a job yet, but as a supportive hobby, even though she don't agree with it sometimes. But thanks, guys. You are the best, and I could not imagine what my life would be like if I hadn't taken that leap to start YouTube. So love you guys. Drink some water. Kiss goodnight. Love you.